Hello and welcome to the monthly Q&A. If you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to rs.fm/Sharmalade and I will do my best to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Question number 1. Hi, what is your most successful multiplayer game of all? Multiplayer game would probably have to be World of Warcraft because I've played so many other multiplayer games. No, wait, do you know what? I think it's Final Fantasy Online, Final Fantasy 14, because, and I might get a lot of hate for this, I think Final Fantasy 14 is tougher than World of Warcraft. I think the bosses are tougher. Not, the A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, and what was the so the latest expansion bosses, I feel like they're so much more complicated. There's so much going on. I mean, come on, what about that maths boss? I don't know the names of the raids in Final Fantasy 14 because I just don't absorb stuff like that. But there's a maths boss. You have to do like prime number maths. You have to, or else you don't. And the amount of one-shot mechanics in Final Fantasy 14 compared to WoW, I feel like with WoW, the healers can heal through your mistakes. So if you're messing up left, right, and centre, we got you all covered. But in Final Fantasy, you cannot heal through one-shot mechanics. So I think Final Fantasy is my most. It's not my. I'm not good at it. Why have I started to compare why Final Fantasy is tougher than WoW? Do you like Harry Potter? I never read the books. I never got on that hype train, and I know it was huge. I went to Florida. I went to the is it Universal, the one that's got the Harry Potter stuff in it? And they've got the train and everything, and I was loving it, and I really wished in that moment that I'd read the books and watched the films, because I know that I would have had a much deeper appreciation for it. But funnily enough, they've actually been putting the films on at the weekends here. So I've just sort of been catching bits and pieces of them when they're on. I've never watched them through fully. They're super long, and I kind of wish I kind of should. And I think my brother got me the whole set once for Christmas. And I think I watched the first one, and then I just never got round to watching the rest. And I know I will eventually. I've seen bits and pieces, so I kind of get the gist. But one thing that I think is kind of incredible about the Harry Potter films, and it's probably the most boring aspect, but just the way they've grown, like they really have aged between each film release. Are you into photography? Not at all. Ian is kind of. He always gets like artsy pictures of Maggie, my dog, when we're out and about. And his niece is as well. She's really good with taking pictures, like artsy pictures. What is the one place in the world you wish you lived in? It used to be America. I always wanted to live in America, and I always used to think to myself, I'm so unfortunate that the UK is such a small island. And the USA is so big, and I was born on this tiny island in comparison. And I wish I lived in United States, but I don't think I feel that way anymore. I've watched too much true crime, I think, and I just feel a bit sort of scared about gun laws and things like that. And I know, the majority of people that have guns are safe and know what to do with them and have them for valid reasons, but guns scare me so much. And I think that's probably I've never been held at gunpoint or anything like that, but when I worked at an off license, like a liquor store, we had a lot of hold-ups and things there. I've spoken about this before, and eventually they decided to put a shield up, a plastic, or I don't know, like just a shield. I don't know what it was made out of. It was like Perspex or something. And I remembered thinking to myself, now they can't use knives on us. They're probably going to somehow get guns or something and just shoot through it. And that scared me back then. And the USA is a beautiful place. It really is. And there's so much of it that I'd love to see. But I think if I could choose somewhere that's within the, reasonable, I could reasonably go and live there, it'd be maybe Scotland. because they always get the best weather. Like, they get the worst of the worst weather, which I think's amazing. I find weather is such a musical inspiration to me. When it's raining or snowing, when the weather's actually doing something, like when it's decided on what it wants to do and it goes full force in Scotland. Whereas here, we kind of get weather that just, it looks like something's going to happen and nothing does, and it's a bit garish and nothing's happening. So probably Scotland. What flatters you easily? I think most compliments flatter me pretty quickly. Like, I'm one of those people that finds it hard to take a compliment from people that I don't know. Whereas if it's from Ian or my dad, then I'm like, oh, that's nice, thank you. If afterlife is real and you get to choose your own, would you rather go to heaven or hell, or be reincarnated, or perhaps something else? And that's from Noor. Well, I mean, if I go to hell, would I get to meet Zagreus? Because probably hell. Heaven would probably be a bit boring, I think. I think I'd want to be reincarnated, and I think I'd like to come back as maybe a dog, because dogs are they just live in the moment, and they're just happy at, like, the slightest notion of going out for a walk, and they love everybody unconditionally, and I think that's a beautiful thing. So probably a dog or a horse. Jeans or leggings? Good question. Both. I wear both, and they're the only things I wear, jeans or leggings. Leggings if I'm feeling like, kind of just want to let it all hang out, you know. That sounds wrong. Jeans when I'm thinking I want to look a little bit stylish and like I've made a bit more of an effort. So anyway, that is it for this month's Q&A. If you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to ask.fm/Sharmalade. And I will try to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Have a lovely week, everybody, and I will see you again very soon. Take care. Bye.